This was probably 1997. I had just been appointed chief executive of a public company for the first time. We were moving into fancy new offices on John Adams Street off the Strand. So I could sit in my corner office on the top floor and look out one window and see Westminster and look out the other and see St. Paul's up the river. So it was a grand space. But it was also an interesting space because just behind us on this building was one of the largest congregations of rough sleepers, homeless, in London. I felt conflicted by standing on the top floor of this beautiful building in this grand office and seeing all these lovely sights, but knowing if I put my head to the window and looked down in the evening, I would see a fairly large community of rough sleepers. So I thought to myself, well, first of all, that doesn't feel right. So I thought, well, what can I do? I will take some food down. We have a canteen in the office. I'll take some excess food down, or maybe I'll round up some clothing. And not that those are bad things to do for people that need it. So one evening, I waited. It was in the winter. It was getting dark earlier. The group was gathering as the sun was setting. I was down there, and I was about to take some food, and a number of us were from the office. And there was an outreach worker from one of the homeless charities down there, and he watched with some bemusement what we were doing. And then came over and said something I remember. He said, well, you might be helping those people, but you might actually be harming them. You might be unintentionally facilitating the unhealthy lifestyle and the unproductive lifestyle that they're leading. So there might be other ways for you to do something about this problem. And then he walked away, and I'm saying, what? What other ways? Don't leave? Well, about the same time, or within a few weeks of that time, I was invited by business in the community. We weren't a member company at the time, to go on a Seeing is Believing visit. And we visited this homeless shelter, talked to the people. We actually did a couple of stops on this visit, looking at the issues, getting the measure of the people that were there. It was actually quite shocking in how normal I found everybody, how much like the rest of us on the visit I found the people that were there. Indeed, people with some bad luck, some things happened to them along the way, lost a job, lost a spouse, had a dependency issue, alcohol, drugs or something. 2 or 3 of those things happened to any one of us. But it was an interesting experience, and we went on this visit, and we reassembled back in somebody's office over tuna sandwiches, and we had a conversation. And it was along the lines of, what is it that we can do? What is it, if anything, that we can do to deal with this problem? The economy was in pretty good shape then. We were all relatively flush with cash, and so our first instinct was, well, we'll give some money. And that's a good thing. It's not a bad thing. And we started that. And so we were thinking about different ideas, and one of the people in that group said, well, we haven't cracked it today, but why don't we meet again? Why don't we gather one more time and see where we go? And we did. And it was, looking back on it, the start of something, in my life at least, and I hope for the lives of others, something quite powerful. And that began a program called Ready for Work, which again is running now. And in that time, thousands of people have gotten back into the workforce. And it's a program built around employee volunteers from organizations working with people who have found themselves in this sort of rough sleeper community or some variation of it. And helping give them the confidence. Sometimes it's a suit to wear to go to an interview. Sometimes it's help with CV planning. Sometimes it's a 2-week or a 4-week placement in an organization. So what we've seen in this program is some very interesting lessons, at least to me. One is that business absolutely positively has a powerful role to play in these issues, particularly as it relates to areas around unlocking talent, getting people ready for work, in confidence about getting back into the world of work, all of those kinds of things. Secondly, and maybe more interestingly, the impact that the work that both I have done and so many others that I've seen, working with this community, the volunteering time we've spent with those people has been such a fulfilling, meaningful experience for all of us. Not about transferring a lot of money, not about big philanthropic giving programs, but just about human beings helping other human beings, and I think all parties feeling good as a result. So it was a very important learning experience for me, and really put me on a journey of saying, hold on a minute, business can do an awful lot here, and it's also good for business.